For 1,000 long years, the galaxy lived with a quiet truth, a truth repeated in schools, in war rooms, and in the highest councils. Humanity was gone. Every species believed it. Every history book claimed it. Every star map marked old human space as dead and silent. Once, humans were known as explorers, fighters, builders, and dreamers. They were feared by enemies and respected by allies, but after the Great Collapse, they simply vanished. No ships, no colonies, no radio signals, nothing. With time, the galaxy forgot them. Human worlds turned into ghost sectors. Human technology became ancient relics. Human legends became bedtime stories told to alien children. Stories about a wild species who rose too fast and fell too hard. But in the quiet darkness at the edge of known space, something changed. Something old, hidden, and impossible began to wake up. It started on Station Ralvik 9, a small listening post run by a minor alien species called the HFY. The station was boring, forgotten, and far from any trade route. Its crew lived a slow life, monitoring empty space and waiting for retirement. Then, one cold cycle, the quiet broke. The station's ancient sensor, dusty and half-broken, beeped once, then again. Then it began flashing bright red. The crew rushed to the console, confused and frightened. They thought it was a system error, a glitch, maybe a ghost signal from a dying star. But the signal was clear, sharp, strong, repeating in a pattern that every species in the galaxy feared to hear again. It was a human code, a message in an old Earth military frequency, a frequency no one had used for 1,000 years. The HFY commander, a thin and nervous creature named Viloon, stared at the screen with shaking hands. "This cannot be real," he whispered. Yet the signal continued, steady, powerful, ancient, like a heartbeat returning after centuries of silence. The message contained only one line, one sentence repeated over and over. "We are coming home." News spread fast. Within hours, the entire sector was awake. Within days, the Council of Stars held an emergency meeting. The 12 great empires sat together, something they only did during great danger. They replayed the signal again and again. Some said it was a trap. Some said it was impossible. Some said humanity could not return because humanity no longer existed. But deep inside, every leader felt the same cold fear. If humans really survived, the galaxy would change forever. Captain Serax of the Valari Empire was chosen to investigate. He was brave, loyal, and known for his calm judgment. He gathered a fleet of scout ships and moved toward the dark region where the signal came from. The closer they went, the stranger space became. The stars looked dim. Energy readings shifted wildly. Space itself felt heavy, as if something massive was moving behind the darkness. Then the scanners went blind. The fleet's engines flickered. Communications crackled with static. Serac stood from his command chair, eyes wide. "Something is opening," he said softly. In front of them, a tear formed in space, a glowing crack. A doorway to somewhere beyond the galaxy. Through the tear came a silhouette, huge, silent, and shaped like a beast from old human war legends. A warship, black as night, cold as deep space, moving with purpose, power, and confidence. His officers gasped. No ship in the modern galaxy looked like this. No empire could build such a thing. Serax felt his throat tighten. There was no doubt, no mistake. No room for disbelief. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The alien fleet floated in stunned silence as the human warship drifted out of the glowing tear in space. It moved slowly like a giant waking from a long sleep. Its hull was black and smooth, absorbing all light. Strange symbols glowed faintly on its sides. Symbols no alien language could understand. Captain Serax felt his chest tighten. His instincts screamed danger, yet there was something else too. A strange feeling of respect. The bridge crew watched the massive ship glide forward without using visible engines. It made no sound. It gave no reading the scanners could detect. It felt like a shadow given life. Serax ordered his officer, "Try to scan it again." The young Velari technician tapped the console nervously the moment he initiated the scan. The system froze, lights dimmed, screens went black. A shiver ran through the ship as if some invisible force touched every circuit. "Captain, the ship shut down our sensors," the technician whispered. "It shut down everything," another added. Even their shields flickered weakly, as if bowing to the human vessel. Across the bridge, fear spread like cold smoke. None of them had ever seen technology like this. No empire in the Council had ever created a ship that could kill scanners with only its presence. Then, without warning, the human ship released a wave of energy. It wasn't an attack, it wasn't a weapon, it was more like a pulse. A quiet command to the universe that said, "I am here." Every alien ship shook lightly. Alarms flashed but faded quickly, then a message appeared on the fleet's communication screens. Not in alien languages, not in symbols used in modern space, but in old Earth, standard, clear, sharp, and perfect. "Do not fear, humanity returns." A second line followed, even more chilling, even more mysterious. "We are not your enemy, but your enemy is coming." Serax felt his heart pound hard. What enemy? What danger? What could threaten the entire galaxy so much that humans returned after 1,000 years? The Council fleet behind him demanded answers. Dozens of alien commanders began shouting through the communication channels. "What are your intentions? Are you declaring war? Where is the rest of your kind?" But the human warship did not respond. It only drifted forward, silent and unstoppable. As if studying the alien ships around it, as if judging them on the bridge, Serax whispered, "This ship. It is not like the humans we knew." His second officer replied quietly, "Maybe they changed in the dark beyond. Maybe they evolved. Maybe they faced something that forced them to become stronger than any species in the galaxy." Suddenly, the tear in space behind the human ship began to flicker again. Serax turned sharply. "Is another ship coming through?" he asked. His crew checked the readings, their hands shaking. "No, Captain," one said. "It is closing." The tear sealed itself with a deep echo that shook everyone's bones. As if the universe locked a door and threw away the key. The human ship was now alone in the galaxy. A lone messenger from a forgotten species that should not exist anymore. But no one knew its true mission, not yet. Then the human ship broadcast one final line, a message that made every empire tremble. A message that felt less like a warning and more like a promise. "Prepare yourselves. The first wave arrives soon." Silence filled the air once more. Heavy, cold, and full of fear, the galaxy, which had forgotten humans, now faced a reality it could not escape. Humanity was back. And something far worse was following them. The galaxy trembled after the human ship's message. No one understood what the first wave meant. No one knew what danger was coming. But every species felt the same cold fear in their hearts. The Council of Stars demanded Serax's fleet follow the human warship. They wanted answers. They wanted truth. They wanted to know how humanity survived for 1,000 years when everyone believed they were gone. The warship did not run. It did not hide. It simply drifted through space with calm purpose. As if waiting for the galaxy to catch up, Serax's scouts followed at a careful distance. No one dared to move closer than a few hundred kilometers. Even that felt too close. The human ship's energy signature bent sensors and made engines hum strangely, like the ship carried the weight of another universe on its back. Suddenly, a soft tone echoed through every alien vessel. A new transmission from the human ship. This one was longer. This one carried history. This one carried truth. A deep synthetic voice began to speak, slow, steady, and heavy like a memory waking after centuries of sleep. This is the vessel Horizon Breaker. Last of the first expedition fleet, Serax leaned forward, listening with full focus. Every alien leader in the council leaned toward their screens. The whole galaxy listened because everyone knew this message would change everything. The voice continued, "Humanity did not fall. Humanity left." The bridge of Serax's ship went silent. Not from confusion, but from shock. Left, not destroyed. Not defeated, not erased. Humanity abandoned their own galaxy. But why, the human voice explained, 1,000 years ago, we discovered a threat hidden behind the edge of our galaxy. A force older than stars. A darkness that sleeps between dimensions. Images flashed across the alien screens. Strange shapes, dark clouds moving like living shadows. Creatures without form, eyes without bodies. A nightmare that looked alive and hungry. The crew shivered, some turned away, the sight felt wrong. Like these creatures were not meant to be seen by mortal eyes, the human voice continued. It whispered to us through our dreams. It pulled at our minds. It wanted our galaxy. The humans had fought it. But they were not strong enough, not at first. So we left, the voice said. We took our strongest minds, our brightest ships, our oldest knowledge. We went into the dark beyond to face the enemy before it reached you, Serax's crew gasped. Humans had not run, they had sacrificed themselves. They had gone into the unknown to protect the galaxy that once feared them. The voice softened like a fading memory. For 1,000 years, we fought, we learned, we built weapons stronger than stars, we became something more than human. The crew felt a chill. Something more than human, the message continued. But the darkness followed us. It broke through the last barrier. It is coming. Serax looked at his officers. Fear showed in every pair of eyes. If the humans feared this enemy, then what chance did the galaxy have? The final part of the message changed everything. We return not as conquerors. We return as guardians. But we cannot win alone. The transmission ended. The screens went dark. Silence filled every ship. Then Serax spoke softly. Humans did not disappear. They were fighting our war long before we knew it existed. The crew nodded slowly. Their fear changed into something new, respect, and a dangerous hope. The galaxy finally knew the truth. Humanity had not died. Humanity had become stronger than anyone imagined, and now they returned to save everyone. Or die trying. The galaxy tried to prepare. Ships moved, weapons charged, alliances formed in panic. But nothing could truly prepare them for what came next. The darkness arrived quietly, not with explosions, not with fleets, not with weapons, but with silence. A silence so deep that sound itself felt afraid. It began at the far edge of Sector 9, a region filled with small colonies and mining posts. One by one, their signals faded, their lights dimmed. Their entire star systems went dark without warning. Captain Serax received the first report. His officer whispered, "Sir, 3 Velari colonies have gone silent." Before Serax could answer, another officer shouted, "Now 5 more." Then, another cluster vanished, not destroyed, not attacked, just gone. A cold fear spread across every ship. Something invisible was moving, something huge, something ancient. The human warship Horizon Breaker reacted first. It changed course, engines roaring with a sound like breaking storms. It moved as if it knew exactly where the darkness would strike next. Serax ordered his fleet to follow. He didn't know what waited ahead. But he knew the humans did. As they approached the dead zone, they saw something horrifying. Stars were fading. Not exploding, not collapsing, fading like candles losing flame. Even the fabric of space shimmered strangely, as if reality itself was being peeled away layer by layer. Then they saw it, a shadow bigger than moons. A shape with no shape, a creature made of darkness thicker than night. It moved like smoke underwater. Slow but unstoppable, the scanners read nothing. They couldn't measure its mass. They couldn't track its energy. The creature was beyond physics. Beyond science, beyond understanding. Every alien in the fleet felt the same feeling. A whisper inside their minds, a voice without sound. A cold pressure that pushed against their thoughts, like fingers trying to open their memories. Serax grabbed his head, his vision blurred. He heard a strange echo. Fear us. Submit. Break. He forced himself to look at the massive shadow. He felt as if he were staring into the reason humans left the galaxy. Then, the human warship attacked. Without warning, without fear, without hesitation. Its weapons lit up like small suns. Beams of pure energy cut through the void. Shock waves rippled across space like thunder. The shadow creature recoiled. Not from damage, but from surprise. Serax watched with awe. Human technology was far beyond anything the Council possessed. Every shot from the Horizon Breaker bent space, twisted gravity, and lit the darkness as if trying to burn a hole through reality itself. But the creature did not fall. It reformed, shifted, grew larger. The human ship spoke through every fleet channel, its voice calm but urgent. This is only the first wave, the creature attacked back. Not with lasers, not with missiles, but with a psychic storm, a wave of mental force that crushed weaker minds instantly. Serax's crew screamed. Some collapsed, some bled from their eyes. Some stared blankly as if their souls had been touched by nightmares. The human ship reacted fast. A glowing barrier expanded outward, covering the alien fleet. The pain faded. The whispers stopped. The psychic storm broke against the human shield like water hitting rock. Serax breathed shakily. Humans had fought this alone for 1,000 years. No wonder they changed. No wonder they became something more. The Horizon Breaker sped forward again, firing weapons that tore the shadow apart piece by piece. But even as the creature dissolved, a terrible truth became clear. It was not dying, it was multiplying. Dozens of new shadows appeared behind it, moving toward the galaxy like a rising tide. Serax stared silently. The fight had only begun. The darkness was coming in full force, and humanity was the only shield standing between the galaxy and extinction. The shadows multiplied until the stars themselves seemed to drown under their numbers. The galaxy looked like a battlefield of darkness. Every fleet trembled. Every captain felt fear rising like cold smoke inside their hearts. Only the human warship moved with confidence. Its engines roared like distant thunder. Its weapons shined like burning suns. The Horizon Breaker looked small against the endless storm. Yet it stood firm. Captain Serax watched from his bridge with shaking hands. He understood one truth now: without humanity, the galaxy would fall in hours. The human ship sent out a final transmission, its voice calm, deep, and full of centuries of war. The barrier will collapse soon. The darkness will spread across every world. You must choose. The Council leaders, watching from distant star systems, felt their pride break. For centuries they believed humans were weak, wild, chaotic, but now they saw the truth. Humans were the shield of the galaxy. Humans were the front line. Humans were the only ones who dared to face the darkness for 1,000 years. Serax sent a message to the human ship, his voice shaking. "What must we do?" The answer came quickly. "Fight with us. Stand beside us, or your worlds will shatter." It was not a threat. It was a fact, a cold truth carved from 1,000 years of suffering. The first massive shadow lunged forward. its body cracked space like glass. The psychic pressure hit the fleet again. Alien ships screamed through the comms. Some broke apart under the weight of the attack. But the human ship pushed ahead alone. It released a new kind of weapon, a white beam that hummed like a living star. When it struck the shadow creature, space exploded in light. The monster's body split into pieces that turned to dust. Serac stared with wide eyes. "How did they build weapons like this?" he whispered. No one answered, because everyone knew the truth. Humanity built them in places far darker than this battlefield. Still, the shadows kept coming, 10 more, 20 more. A tidal wave of nightmares rising from the void. The horizon breaker broadcast another message, its tone firm and final. "All ships form behind us. We will open the wall of light." No one knew what that meant, but every fleet obeyed. They moved behind the human ship like frightened children gathering behind an ancient warrior. Then the human warship's hull began to glow. Lines of pure light spread across its surface. Engines roared louder than any thunder. Space itself trembled. A massive arc of white light burst forward from the ship. A wall taller than moons, brighter than stars. It grew wider and wider, pushing into the shadows. Every monster that touched it screamed without sound and dissolved like smoke. The galaxy watched as humans stood alone at the front. One ship holding back the darkness that swallowed systems whole. But the price was heavy. The horizon breaker shook violently. Cracks appeared on its hull. Energy overloads flashed across its surface. A final message came, soft, sad, and filled with pride. "Remember this. We never left you. We were protecting you. Now protect each other." With a final surge, the wall of light expanded. It burned through the shadows. It sealed the breach they crawled from. It lit the galaxy brighter than any sunrise. When the light faded, the darkness was gone. The breach was closed, the shadows were erased. But the human ship floated silently, its engines dim, its weapons dark. Its hull cracked from the final strike, Serac whispered. "They saved us all," his crew bowed their heads. Every fleet across the galaxy fell silent in respect. Humanity had returned, and their return had shattered worlds. Not through war, but through sacrifice and strength. And now, the galaxy understood its new duty. To stand together, to fight together, to live because humanity gave them another chance. The age of fear ended. The age of unity began. And the legend of humanity burned brighter than any star.